Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. The Morgan Stanley Multicultural Innovation Lab launching its first summer cohort this week. It serves as an in-house accelerator for diverse early-stage startup founders. And Carla Harris is joining us this morning, Vice Chairman of Global Wealth Management, Head of Multicultural Client Services Group at Morgan Stanley Investment Management. Carla, before we get into that, I want to talk about what's going on in the markets this morning. You got the Dow off about 240 points. Largely because there's a view that the Fed is now accelerating its taper timeline and what that could mean for the VC space. What's your take on where we are with the Fed and what may happen here?
Well, Andrew, as you know, first of all, good morning. Thanks for having me again. The market hates two things, uncertainty and surprise. And there certainly has been noise in the marketplace which suggests that tapering, that timeline is being moved up. And whenever there's that kind of volatility, it does affect investors' risk profile. And given what has gone on broadly in the private markets, no question, I would think that people would be a little bit more cautious when you're going to have a volatile public market, which obviously has implications for your exits. If you are a VC investor, it will certainly make you more cautious in terms of your profile and investing activity.
Have you found in conversations with some of the VC founders and private equity funds and venture funds and others that you talk to, either that they're saying, you know what, it's going to cost more to actually get some leverage in this space if that's what we're going to do, or the exit could be tougher, maybe the price is going to come down? By the way, you could throw potentially taxes into that in this calendar year. I don't know if you think it may not even be a calendar year issue anymore this year, but into next?
Well, certainly what I've seen in the conversations that I've had with VCs over the last 15 months is that most VCs turned their attention to their own portfolios and decided that they were going to keep dry powder in order to make investments in those companies, because who knew what was going to happen on the other side of the COVID-19 crisis, and they wanted to have capital available for that. So from that perspective, that there's going to be volatility, as I said, in the public markets, which might mean they have to hold on to some of those companies that in the normal course of business might have been ready for the public markets, then that's obviously going to have implications on new investments if they have to continue to invest in the portfolio companies because there's not a public market exit.
Is your sense, and this speaks really to this new cohort that you're introducing right now, is your sense that there's a lot of innovation happening in the world right now in the midst of what we thought was going to be hopefully the tail end of COVID, but it still persists? Or is this just been a lot of treading water the past 18 months?
Yeah, I have to tell you, Andrew, I don't think it's been a lot of treading water at all. We had two of the biggest application classes that we've seen since the inception of the lab in 2017. And as you and I have talked about before, I think there is exceptional appetite and interest in entrepreneurship among millennials and Zers. And if you look at the companies that we've seen just applied, let alone the 8 companies that we brought, 8 companies that we brought into this 6th cohort, the themes have been around fintech and health tech and med tech, consumer retail, the same kind of themes that you see going on in the broader economy. So I do feel that there's a lot of innovation that has transpired, especially over the last 18 or so months that we've been in this protocol.
Have you found that startups are actually getting together in person? I mean, this goes to the whole issue of remote work, what a startup even looks like today, and whether people effectively are starting and managing their companies all virtually.
Well, I'll tell you that with respect to our lab, we pivoted immediately last year and we conducted the entire lab virtually. And we started this new cohort virtually with the intention, hopefully, as we get into the fall, to have periods where we'll be able to bring the whole cohort together. But it was amazing how we were able to maintain and actually drive community, even though we weren't in the same place. But I do believe the companies themselves, because the founders tend to know each other, are finding ways to actually be in the same place. But with respect to driving their business and getting customer sales, a lot of that is happening virtually.
Carla, it's always good to see you. We wish you a lot of luck with this latest and newest cohort. I hope we can maybe bring some of them on TV at some point to talk about their businesses. But thank you so much for your perspective this morning.
Thank you. Would love to do that. They're an amazing group.